What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I want to show you guys what Taskmaster can do with a damage proc. I went ahead and decided to slap a CTP of energy on him, and this CTP of energy does have 38% ignore dodge, has the 200% damage proc, and because we got that 38% ignore dodge on top of the ignore dodge from his passive, that's going to give us about 60% ignore dodge, and then we're going to use Valkyrie's leadership, or I'm sorry, her support, and that's going to pretty much give us almost max dodge 4-0, which is actually really great. I haven't changed anything about this build compared to the last time with the CTP of Inside, the same amount of physical attack. We do have max critical damage this time. That is going to be one difference because we have the CTP of Energy on him. And I got to tell you guys, after playing with a proc a little bit, he can be a little wacky at times. The force skill actually has to do a slash before the attack proc actually happens. Well, not the proc, but the buff, right? You have to do the slash. There's the slash before you get this buff, this 35% attack buff. And that can be quite annoying. Something else that I noticed is Taskmaster's, his survivability just seems to be a little bit lackluster. Now, because he has invincibility on his fifth skill and he has immunity on his third skill, what you want to do is you want to kind of alternate those skills so that way he always has some kind of form of immunity up at all times. And that's really going to help his survivability, especially since he has a nice, or not a nice, but a fairly long cooldown on his fifth skill where you want that damage proc. I mean, the idea is to go 4 and then go into the 5, get your damage accumulation from the 5, land your damage proc on the 5, hopefully take some damage to deal a lot more damage. And then after that, to get your tier 3 off cooldown, go into your 1, and then your 2, and then go into your 3. Get your immunity up. Now, you have to be very fast when you're doing the 1, 2, 3 combination. That way, the 3 doesn't set off the proc again, and then you can go back into your 4 or 5. Now, there's something I've actually noticed is, if you try, like, whenever his tier 3 is off cooldown, and I'll show you here. When his tier 3 is ready to go, what a lot of people might want to do is they might want to go 4 to get their 35% attack buff, their 5th skill to get the damage accumulation, and then go into the tier 3. I can tell you right now with a damage proc, that's not going to work out very well. At least it hasn't for me so far. Every time I've tried that, the damage proc always wants to trigger early. In fact, it almost always wants to trigger on the 5th skill. And even at times, the 4th skill will set off the proc because in order to get that attack buff, you can't cancel immediately. You got to let him do that slash, right? And whenever he starts his 5th skill, it can be a little bit difficult once in a while to cancel. Now, there it seemed to cancel pretty quick. So let's take him in some runs. Let me show you what he can do. It's the same build as before. There's nothing really different at all. Mythic uniform. So we'll go against Proxima here. Here we go. Same team up that I used before. Zemo's leadership. That 60% increase of all attack. And then Shuri's passive, of course. And then we're just going to use anti-venom for a heal. Now, the reason I'm using anti-venom instead of the other version of Venom is because the other version of Venom actually has all defense down that stacks up to 50%. Whereas in Taskmaster's kit, it stacks up to 55%. We don't want those all defense downs like overriding each other. We want to make sure we have the up to 55% at all times. I know it's only 5%, but every little bit does help. But we really want those heals because Taskmaster's HP pool really isn't the greatest. I think they really should have gave this guy a heal. Now, we're going to start with the 4-5. Here we go. And then we're going to go on the 2, or the 1, 2, and then the 3. Now, the proc kind of triggered a little late there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit my damage accumulation and go into the tier 3. And I got to tell you guys, now there I missed my 4. I was actually too far away. But that's all right. That's all right. Proxima would have went up to the top anyways. Now, some people might try to go like 4 into the tier 3, but I really find if you get your damage accumulation, especially since the tier 3 isn't a full iframe, that you're going to do a lot better. Whoa, we need to run, we need to run, we need to run, we need to run. Now there, the proc actually triggered on the 4th skill, and that's something you really got to be wary of when you're playing with Taskmaster. Whoa, crap. Here, I'll do the 4 and then go into the tier 3. See what happened there? I tried going 4, 5, tier 3, and the proc hit on the 5th skill, which is what you don't want. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, and boom, all right? So, you know, a minute, 45 seconds in the first phase. I really wish you could cancel these skills faster. So there, I got my damage accumulation, then I went to my tier 3. And if I would have hit my 4 skill just now, it would have triggered the proc early, which is what we don't want to do. Oh, crap. And boom. And look at that, guys. I mean, he shouldn't die that easy. One shot. I mean, the damage wasn't bad, but that sucks. I mean, that sucks bad, right? Just to get one shot, to be tier 3 and get one shotted like that, that's disappointing. That is disappointing. You know, they really should have gave him some decreased damage received. And we did have Shuri on the team which decreased damage received by 35%. And still we got one-shotted like nothing, right? So this is going to be stage 9. We're going to use Taskmaster's leadership. That's 35% increased leadership. And then we got Valkyrie. And Valkyrie's got the 45% damage to supervillains and 30% ignore dodge. We got 20% ignore dodge. And with the CTP of energy, we actually have about 60% ignore dodge. So we have a total of 90% ignore dodge. So we can just use all damage to supervillain strikers on top of having a heal. And usually when I test characters against stage 9, I usually just have one support so that we just have Valkyrie. But Taskmaster is actually a self-buffing support, right? They're getting damage to supervillains from him and from Valkyrie. So you think he'd do pretty damn good. Then we just have all these damage to supervillains, and then of course Venom for the heal. Okay, so this is the second time that I've been trying this because that was a terrible run I just had. I had to do it again. It was absolutely horrific. Proc wasn't triggering at all. And there it triggered quite late actually. So the most important thing that I'm doing here is I'm going to try to avoid the toxic meteor rise. There we go. We picked up a few heals, and I tried to get away from the meteor. Now, you could switch your character. Now, there I hit my damage accumulation, and then I hit my tier 3. And if I could have canceled that 4 skill, like, faster than what we normally can, I would have just canceled it, but no. And where's my proc didn't even trigger. And it's really annoying because when the proc doesn't trigger, it throws your rotation off big time. Okay, so now we're going to hit the 5th skill and then the tier 3. We took some damage there, so I mean, that was a lot of bars, guys. That was quite a few bars that melted there, and it was really good, but it's you have to take damage in order to do that kind of damage, right? That's kind of the thing. Oh boy. Okay, pick up heals, pick up heals, pick up heals. All right, but I really find that I do a lot more damage when I use the damage accumulation skill, the 5th skill, before the tier 3, right? If I just go 4 tier 3, then I seem to do a lot less damage. But man, when you get that damage accumulation, it seems to be a lot better. And I'm going to go ahead and switch, because if Taskmaster gets caught in any of these purple attacks, it's going to be a bad day for him. Okay, jump away, jump, no. All right, throw your crap out here. And boom, right? Okay. Now I want my damage accumulation skill ready here. There we go. Especially with Null, you know, whopping up on us. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now there, the proc actually triggered on the force skill. I mean, that's kind of an annoying, right? You got the attack buff on the force skill, and that damn thing will trigger that proc at times. And man, that just sucks at times. We want to get out of there. I mean, like I said, when you hit that fifth skill before that tier 3, you will see some pretty wild damage. We try to squeeze in a little bit more there. Trying to get a little overzealous, man, or being a little overzealous. All right, all right. And this run's actually turning out a lot better than the one I had just had. Man, it was terrible. So, like, in this part of the fight, you know, you're really not taking any damage. And it can be pretty annoying, actually. All right, get over here. And those meteorites are deadly. Okay, okay. And so, I mean, we're on pace, but I mean, it's taking a long time, right? That's kind of the thing. It's taking a while to do this. We want to get out of there. Oh boy, oh boy. I don't know if we're going to get it done. That damn proc, man. And see, like right now, we're not really taking as much damage as what we would like. And I mean, that just sucks, right? That really sucks. If that proc wouldn't have triggered early on the 4, I mean, I almost wonder if it'd be better just to start off with the 5th skill, right? So you don't even have to worry about the proc triggering from the starting with the 5th skill, so you don't have to worry about the proc triggering from the 4th skill. But the thing is, you want that attack buff, right? You want that attack buff from the 4th skill before you're landing your proc on your 5th skill. So it might be one of the situations like some things I did in the past was I would do like a rotation where maybe I would do the 5th skill, right? Then do the 2, then do the 1, 2, then go into the 3, and then go back into the 4 and then into the 5, because the proc's on a 7-second timer. And before that 7 seconds is up, maybe you could try that. But you got a 9-second cooldown on that 5th skill, so that might not work out, actually. Let me look at something here. So yeah, his attack buff does last for 10 seconds. I mean, maybe something like that would work out, but he's just really wonky to play. And honestly, that isn't the greatest damage. You definitely want to see a lot more damage than that. Like, there's times where you get your damage accumulation from the 5, and you hit that tier 3, and at the beginning of tier 3, he's not in an iframe. He can take a lot of damage, which is exactly what you want when you're doing it. And you can put out quite a few bars, but it's very inconsistent. It's not super reliable. You're going to have to play him very carefully in order to play him properly. And sometimes that's very annoying when you're playing with a character like this. And again, that leads me right back into, I believe he's just mainly going to be a support. Because he is wonky to play, because his damage really isn't as good as it should be. This character really should be a little bit stronger than this. If his damage accumulation would have been as good as Sharon Rogers or Luke Cage, if this would have been increased attack by 15%, he'd have been a monster. He'd have been a whole lot better. If he had a heal, that would have been a lot better. Then you could have switched out your healing striker for a damage to supervillain striker to increase your damage. So yeah, so let me know what y'all think about Taskmaster, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.